That's right. We're going to move into today, though, Blaze, and we're starting things off on a hot note. Rebel, after last night, they need to find a win. They need to figure it out because you can tell there were maybe some communication issues, maybe some chemistry things going on where you saw some shocks get thrown pretty mistakenly. You saw some flashes get wasted. People found themselves in the wrong spot. Meanwhile, Noble kind of has a tale of two stories where they have one map they get absolutely steamrolled over, and then every other map you kind of see them figuring out their opponents. So now you get this situation where you have a team that has done fantastic thus far, that has figured out everybody that's put in front of them, going up against a team that's still trying to click, still trying to gel. And Rebel, do you see it kind of coming out right now? Which team needs to prove more? I mean, I know it's probably going to be Rebel, but do you think Rebel has to prove more in the idea that they've learned from their mistakes, or that Noble has to prove that they are that team, they are that good?
You know what? When it comes down to it, I think over these last few weeks, I've seen as most out of Rebel as I think I'm gonna get here towards this pro league and the matches and what they played in. We got 3 days left. I don't know if we're gonna see a big jump in skill. We definitely won't see the wins that they need to really kind of move up towards the ranking. So for me, I want Noble to show us that they are the #2 team in the pro league currently, because they are sitting in that spot 6-1. But I want to see some of their wins look a little bit more dominant. And Rebel is the perfect team to showcase that against, because, you think about their play styles and Rebel being more on that aggressive side, Noble having that defensive play style. I want to see Noble stick to their guns tonight, lock in these 2-to-1 hill setups and just, pick Rebel off one by one. And I think that they can do that. And I just want it to look like a clean victory for Noble as we start heading into the mid-season split.
Well, look, one of the players for Noble that's going to give them the opportunity to be able to assert that dominance is today's player to watch in this matchup. It is going to be the one and the only Lava, and he's one of the names that gets thrown around a lot in the histories of our game, where we see everybody we see people talk about his leadership, his former major championships, Lava being one of those supreme lords from Gears 3, Gears UE, Gears 4. He comes and then he bounces around after getting dropped from that Optic Gaming team, but it looks like he continuously finds himself at the head of every squad he gets put on. He's always being the guy that we kind of look to and talk about as having to be able to show up and show up for his squad, and he's continuing to do it. Look at that 2.4 KDA. That plus minus is in the positive side of thing. It's the true engagement success that stands out to me, though. Literally, almost 3/4 of the fight, 30% of the fights that he involves himself in go negatively. 70% of the fights that Lava even shoots one bullet at somebody, they're dying. They're finding themselves wiped off the map. So that tells me that Lava is probably the most important key to Noble success.
And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if all 4 members on this Noble squad, their engagement percentage was higher than 60% across the board, just based off their team fire. And that's a crazy number, man. 70% of the kills that he come across end up coming in victory way of Noble. That's the important part about that stat. And it's nice to see Lava with a positive KD, because I think if anyone's going to be a Slayer on this team, I'm looking at him and Xysho. Well, actually, you know what? Reptlian has been on fire. Okay, as I said that, I was thinking Reptlian in the back of my head, like 2 main Slayers. Maybe Reptlian and Lava right there. But regardless of, he has had a great performance so far, and he needs to continue to peak as we head into the midseason playoffs.
Well, as he probably tries to continue to peak, let's take a peek and see what our pick and bans are for this matchup between Rebel and Noble. And District coming out map #1 for the side of Noble, to me, speaks volumes. Rebel, they get the map they probably want, though. It's a map that they have beaten the Pittsburgh Knights on before. It's a map that you can tell they feel very confident on. But with Harbor and District starting out, and both of those maps can become kind of setup heavy, it looks to me like Noble kind of got the better of this pick and ban, Blaze.
Yeah, it definitely does, because Vasgar is going to highlight Noble's teamwork on the back end of the map cycle. But you come back towards the first 2 maps, District, Harbor, they play very similar. You look at how the Harbor setups are going to be, and even when you start putting sniper rifles down on these maps, these centerline weapons, District and Harbor, Noble, they got some damn good setups, especially if they win the initial. Now, we did see, I want to say it was Noble versus the Knights when Raver picked them apart. But regardless, I don't know. I want to say that was a series, but if not, we saw Harbor when Noble did play the Knights, And then just the Latium players when it comes down to that winch fight could be too strong. But on the other end, PK and Rebel are two different teams. Okay, that's what I want to say. I don't want it to PK and Rebel are two different teams night and day. So Rebel, I think the cycle's looking good for them. For map number 2, I'm looking for them to win those initials. But if they do that, man, hey, they'll be good.
Well, we'll move right on into our predictions. Let's not waste any more time trying to get to this game. And I'm going to make it clean, cut, and simple. I get worried when I see teams start to have those kind of blunders late in games where all they have to do is maybe throw a correct utility grenade here, whether it be that shock to start things off or with a secondary push. We saw some flashes actually bounce back in people's faces from pillars, blinding out a secondary teammate, giving some open lanes to Fire and Ice to kind of have their way in those ladder rounds, in those crunch time rounds. That worries me more than anything else on the planet. Noble, meanwhile, they were showing that when the pressure was on, they were turning more into diamonds, and they look to continue that streak here tonight. If you ask me, they are going to win this matchup. I'm picking Noble, and I pick it pretty easy. I think it's going to end up being a 2-0 Blaze.
Man, that's a good prediction, Colin. That's a great one. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it short, and I got to double down with you for Noble. I think looking at the map cycle confirms to me that this could be a 2-0 series. If Rebel finds a way to overcome Noble, I think that's impressive, and it says a lot about Rebel because I think that these squads got different play styles, and Noble counters Rebel a little bit more than the other end. So I got Noble in 2, and let's see what the chat got to say about it.
Chat, I get the feeling that chat's going to go the opposite of us because you know how they love the LATAM scene. We get called bias all the time. So maybe chat's going to go
They've been
against
making good
us.
Picks, though.
But we might we might get one on them. We might get one on them.
Rebel.
Come on now. Pick it up with Rebel so we can see whether or not we get that possible point back in the standings.
Okay.
There you go. No, look, that's just copycats. All right,
this season.
They played it safe. They said, look, we got to go Blaze and Colin, make sure that we don't mess this up for ourselves and find ourselves possibly losing that point. But hey, the first map is loading up. We are going into district. I really want to see how Rebel comes back from their district last night. That's where their woes started. That's where they started making some of those blunders. I really hope they spent earlier today maybe going over some VOD, maybe reviewing how those utility nades are thrown, because PR said it last night, and I'm sure you know how this feels, Blaze. When you're practicing with those utilities off rip, you throw them probably 650 billion times, and to mess that up come game time, nobody's going to let you forget about it.
Nah, that's the one thing that you can't mess up. You're only going to get one utility grenade off respawn. We know how important the shocks and the incinerators can be, and you got to land a good one. It can make or break the round sometimes, so definitely needs to be accurate on game day. Now, speaking of being accurate, you see the first down come through for Noble, but no kills getting acquired just yet, so no kills on the board. Rebel going from home to hill. And they look like they're going to be able to lock in the C hill with the smoke going down.
Crack is going to be in there. They actually got 2 players here. Flash is out. They're sending one player through the smoke for just a moment to try to threaten up. They get the home-to-home stretch. This is a really awkward fight for Noble because you have to Lancer straight down and possibly run straight down a set of stairs to try to get back into this hill. Xysho's going to put himself up into that position to possibly get taken down. Lava goes and joins him. They get the decap, but they don't have enough damage to get any kills here, to wrap anything up. But now Rebel's not going to have those flash grenades that they use to get the original, or the smokes and the flashes to get that original path back up. And now they're going to have the extra kill in the area. So it looks like Noble has found themselves on the back foot in this round. They have to rotate out of here. Crack's probably going to push his advantage here on Lava. Lava's going to get pinched out, actually, and they get the 2-shot down, the easy cleanup. And that is going to put them in the position to win this first round because they have both juice and info. They can pinch out B if they wish, and they have the home-to-home spread. You see how Noble's kind of backed up toward this B hill, Blaze.
What a setup.
And it looks like they got to fight out from the corner.
I love this setup here from Rebel. You see player 1, he's going to reposition himself, but I think he could have stayed in there, but you see he needs to go help his teammate Kardia in the spawn. So Demon trying to get back to the home hill as fast as he can. He has a fight before he gets there. He's going to lose that one. So at this point, Noble getting behind enemy lines, and this is going to work out really well for him, Colin, because with the A hill being decapped, B being locked in as well, their opponent has to get to A to fight them. But as we can see, it looks like Rebel is going to be rotating up top portion of the map, trying to get the decap on B. We'll see if Noble can keep this win condition, though, because they're going to have to probably get their home hill back at some point, and they got it now.
They've got the retake on for now. They're going to catch him in points in probably about 20 more seconds. Kardia is going to get lancered out, get taken down, but he does get the cat. Meanwhile, Rebel finds themselves in the exact same place Noble was about 10 seconds ago. They've lost a home-to-home stretch. They have a player down at B. They're going to lose the opening and info. Demon and now the rest of the team are going to flood through their home. Curious to see if Noble can shut them down, trying to get this push off, because in just a few moments, I still don't see why. There we go. Noble's finally gotten into the B hill to go for that decap. Reptile tries to push up. He's going to try to get anybody he can get a shot on, but he's not going to even get down. Crack will kill him off. This is dangerous sledding. 3v2 on the map right now. Up over that 200-point threshold, 15 seconds. You see how Rebel has to get a break if they want to come back into this. They have a player dancing around a B. That's going to be Kardia. He's going to go down. Almost gets that retake. Now Xysho is going to push up. He has to worry about Identivez. Ladies and gentlemen, this first round is going to come down to the wire, but the back game from Xysho shuts him down. Meanwhile, Gearries on the home hill of Rebel, and that's going to wrap up round number 1 in favor of Noble.
Wow, what a close round. And it highlighted so many characteristics for Noble, which makes them so great there. Because you look back at the initial Rebel, they were so aggressive to start. And then, you look at their setup, they were able to get the home hill of Noble. They were able to get set up in info. And then you're looking at the mini map, and this is like, wow, they got a nice spread. In order to get the home hill back for Noble, they would have had to take a difficult fight in info. So what did they do? They rotated towards the top portion of the map. It was a world tour going through Pergola all the way down to Arcade. And then from that moment on, they made they ended up getting their home hill back, Colin. But throughout the rest of the round, they traded off the neutral hill, rather if it was their opponent's home hill, the B hill. And they took them with great timing, too, as well, to win that at the very last minute, the very last second.
Beautiful job, beautiful retake there by Noble. Here we go with the initials coming out from both teams. Rebel actually going for the mid-neutral hill split. Demon is full red. His teammate there, I believe, with him is Crack. He's full red as well. Down and out. Now it's a 4v2 on the map. If I'm Reptile, maybe you don't even go for that cap. Maybe you try to push up with your teammates to find this other player. You can see them trying to swarm Identivez, and they have the call out now on both of these players. Identivez is going to push up into the info now. He's going to take his chance against Gearries. Gets the shot over the cover. Beautiful two-shot kill there for Identivez. Demon, though, down, now peeked up as a meat shield. Have to be careful not to get taken out. Go over this triple cap domination. Crack pushes in along with Identivez once again. They're going to bounce around, trade out in the kill. Next player for Rebel will spawn, but he's not going to make it back in time. That's a beautiful initial by Noble, once again using their team fire to keep Rebel out of the comfort zone, out of position, and now down 2-0, Blaze.
Whew, and that was a even better initial coming out from Noble this round, better than what Rebel kicked off with in round number 1. You saw him win that engagement top cinema. As soon as those kills came through, it was pressure on a home hill, pressure through info, and we saw that pinch on top of Rebel's home. From that moment, it was really nothing they can do about it. They couldn't fight back. They didn't have the luxury of time there, because you know how you can feel that pressure as you need to get back to defend your home hill. You see it being capped and recapped, and trip cap domination sound is coming through. It adds pressure to a unit to really clutch up there in that moment. And Noble, they applied all that pressure. So Snipe's going down. Rebel's going to get the weapon that they want. And let's see if they can acquire it here. We got a 3v3 fight up top and a 1v1 in the middle. We see that Rebel gets the not just the fight or not just the weapon they want. They get the fight that they want. And Blaze, haven't you and I been preaching this all split, where if you're losing the initials by Lancer Fire, by a team being better at rotating than you, put that big power weapon down, make it about a team fight, bring them into your dojo and say, look, if you're going to be able to chop us, you better chop us in the throat and take us down. Because if you're just going to beat us with Lancer, we're going to make you challenge us with Nashers. And look at the dominant initial that Rebel has put forth. Already a couple players down. They're getting the decap at the home hill, and that's going to leave a 1v1 over here. Gearries is trying to push Demon, gets body checked yet again, and that's an easy, wide, single shot down and dead for Rebel. They are going to threaten this triple cap, and they're probably going to go ahead and solidify Blaze, but I mean, that's picture perfect. They know the fight that they need to get, so they place down the sniper to draw Noble out of their power positions, which is their setups. Yeah, man, we say it all the time, if building up the secondaries ain't working for you, if you're not trading back these rounds, you need to change up the fight. Now, even when you do put a center line power weapon, and your opponent do have those secondaries, if they take time to pick up those secondaries and try to make it to the fight, and you should be able to have that extra second or two needed before the numbers are equal for you to be able to get that power weapon and to make a play for your team or to back up and reset. So if you got some fast players on your squad like Demon and Identivez, you can win the fight, take the numbers fight, win it, get the power weapon back up in a span of 5 seconds before that guy with the secondary can have an influence. And we'll see as we see no secondaries being picked up in this fight. And Demon off the front, he's able to pick up one, picks up two. Identivez gets the snipe, and right away, Colin, this fight has been, we can see once again, this fight has been working out for Rebel.
Beautiful second round in a row by Rebel. That initial just too picture perfect for them. You can see Lava trying to backtrack, trying to hold the court over his own home. There's a quick pick, but Identivez gets the headshot. Beautiful job to have the cross out, have the long shot out, and get that shot on and the kill. They've got 4 members here at the opposing home hill. You know what that is. That's a house party. That's a 2-2 tied up after the first half. And Blaze, I like kind of the shift that we saw Gearries attempt there. He threw his flash, and then he tried to run past the flash grenade of Rebel to get that first shot, maybe even a chunk. He got probably a decent spread. Not exactly full force, but then all of Rebel dropped their flashes at Gearries' feet, basically. So he stayed stunned for what seemed like a millennia, ends up getting chunked right back out. The only thing I can see right now that would change the fortunes going into the second half for a team like Noble is they have to slow that fight down up top. Maybe place this retro at 60. Oh, there's it is. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That shock. That'll sure as hell slow it down. Throw those flashes. Just don't let anybody get the quick pick, and then buy your player time to pick that utility and bring it into the fight.
Nah, the shock will definitely slow it down. And that play from Gearries, high risk, high reward. At this level of gameplay, you'll be lucky if you get 2 shots off. If you choose to, just play for the kill right away at the tip of the fight. Now you see the flashes go down. Demon with the quick pick, and he backs up. That extra second, man, he goes in there without any fear whatsoever, Colin, and gets his weapon. And this is where Rebel starts to get a lead. This is where they start controlling the momentum of the map. Crap is gonna live, so that's still 4 players alive for Rebel. And now they're on top of the home hill with 3 members. Nobody's gonna make it down low to E in time. Oh, hold up. Maybe 4.
Chance right here. He goes into it. He's got to get this decap, but Kardia gives him the shoulder shake. And that was a beautiful one-shot chunk there. 3 rounds in a row for Rebel. And I mean, they're making me look absolutely silly, but that's because they've decided that they were going to make this fight about a power weapon. They draw Noble out of their comfort zone. They say, you're going to have to fight me. You're going to have to come into this cinema, and you're going to have to win a shoddy battle. And so far, Noble has not had an answer. I think there's your answer, Blaze. Again, you now split the forces up. You're going to force Noble to at least send somebody down there along with Rebel, so that might not make it a 3v3 at cinema. You might see a 2v2 across the map now, which might make things a little bit easier on the side of Noble to try to stay into this one. They've now got to come back from behind as they're down 1 round and staring down 3 straight rounds of losses to Rebel.
Noble sends 2 to snipe up top. Rebel sends 2 to M-bar down low, and both teams will pick up the respective power weapons there. Now, Identivez able to find a kill mid-map, and that's him in a 1v2 up top trying to defend that sniper rifle. You see him fall. Kardia steps up, though. He's going to get the down. And actually, the snipe was not picked up, so he'll be able to get it. And as you already know, Demon has Zimbar, so Rebel's exactly where they want to be. But big plays from Identivez because he started that battle off in a 1v2 just trying to stay alive at Fountains, and he managed to find one in the end.
I love that new animation that Gears 5 came out with where you don't have to trade the weapon off. You can just hold the direction on your D-pad and you'll eventually drop it. And Identivez came running in and he said, please give me the snipe, please give me the snipe, please give me the snipe. And Kardia just drops it on the ground. He's like, you want it? That's fine. You can have it, but you're going to have to pick it up. Beautiful shot through the smoke from Demon. Great job there with the M-bar getting damage onto him. And now things are going to get real testy for Noble as they're down 30 seconds. They find themselves in the danger zone. As you can see, they have to be picture perfect in the rotations as Rebel has both power weapons. They have both precision rifles as well. And Xysho's actually going to challenge this with Identivez here, but a good third shot out from Xysho. He has to quickly take cover. He's full red. I don't know if he can go down here because you can see he has to worry about his teammates down at the E-Hill, but that fight has been won by Rebel, and Rebel's also won the inside of the info. This is all of the fights going back in favor of Rebel. Xysho's going to get very ballsy with that hop over the cover, but he's going to drop, and this should lead to a 4-2 round count lead.
It definitely should. Now, Noble can still contest the home hill. Reptile falls, and Gearries will not make it in time. It's 4 straight rounds from Rebel, and I gotta say, man, I'm super impressed with them here on this map. As soon as the sniper rifle went down, the 2 rounds after that, up until the shot grenade got built, just straight dominance here from the side of Rebel. And then these last few rounds, they've done a good job navigating around the shot and then navigating the fight down low. So it was good. It was good.
Come here to the 7th round on the board. Rebel, like you said, they've won 4 straight rounds. They are 1 round away from taking a 1-0 lead, but it also takes them in a 1-0 lead to their map pick over to Harbor, to a map that they have been very comfortable on all splits. So maybe all of us look like idiots picking Noble here, and I especially picking that Noble 2-0 because I just thought they were going to be so strong after last night, looked so good after yesterday and that win over E United, and Rebel coming off of those blunders would really have to figure out how to come back into this. Demon is going to be stunned up here. Identivez pulls into the fight to try to help them out. 2v2 over here. Demon, I love that shot call. He says, I'm going to roll back. I'm going to pull Lancer. Gearries has to hit 2 pretty perfect shots to get that kill. The 1v1 is won up top by Noble. Now Noble has a chance to win the 2v1 down here at the bandstand. Beautiful job. You're threatening the triple cap, but I don't know if you can come. Oh my God, Reptile must have hit a headshot. He had to hit a headshot.
Body shot is going to solidify it. Great round from Noble. So what they did there, they said, you know what? We want to make this as clear cut as possible, so let's play man on man. The previous round, they had sent 2 to snipe, but Identivez, man, ran circles around them, so they wanted to keep it simple. 1v1s up top, 1v1 in the mid lane, and 2v2 down low. And the fights worked out for him. Reptile making big plays up there. He's the main reason the trip cap domination comes through, because unless he wins that 1v1 and overextends towards the home hill and get that 2nd kill, we'll still be playing in the previous round. So good job to him, and better initiative there from Noble in that last round.
There's a block on the M bar down low at the bandstand. Noble is probably going to go back to that 3v3 fight at the snipe, and you know Rebel put that block there at the bandstand. There's a part of me that almost wishes they try to stalemate this out to go pick up the incendiary. I mean, look at that. They even sent Gearries to the Lancer angle to try to make it prolonged. I don't know why you maybe didn't send your player to go for that utility nade, try to get that incendiary in here to really get that easy first kill out. Crack is going to get a couple of wrap shots. Xysho is going to try to go for the pickup. There's the trade out. Xysho is going to get the back A. It's up to Identivez. He wins the fight there in the cinema. He'll win the long shot, but it looks like they are going to back up now, and Noble's going to try to take that incendiary over here to E. There's the call out as well, as Identivez has already started his march to that top info spot, the big window. Woo! Don't make it but so easy for him now, Noble. I mean, don't run right into his crosshairs, why don't you?
Man, what a big play. What a big, great initial here from Rebel. I think one of the deciding factors was that Crack got the shot grenade and Noble didn't pick up theirs off the start. So I didn't get a chance to see where the shot grenade failed, but it definitely had to play a big part into that fight. Now, you see Identivez anchored here mid-map. His team has all the heals in which they need. And from this position, he can rotate back and forth towards the lower portion and the top portion of the map, being to be wherever his teammates need him to be. And I don't think Rebel pushed this. You know, they are exactly where they want to be. Let Noble make the next move. Let them rotate to the open in E. Let them extend to the home hills if they have to. And honestly, Noble's not making a play right now, and they already threw their smoke grenade. So starting this push a little bit late. Identivez connects with 2 body shots, 1 kill acquired. Both downs come through. He sees the 3rd. Doesn't know where the 4th is just yet, but his teammates, man, they're going to give him the call outs, and Rebel looking like they're going to win 5 in a row.
Rebel's going to have to win this one, shut it down, make it 5-3 is the only answer back from Noble. Was the 2nd round with that M bar down, but with the block coming out and making it about a big team fight once again. Rebel, they threaten the triple cap domination just 2 seconds away. Xysho will crawl in and reset the timer, but I can hear somebody singing in the dressing room. That's going to be all she wrote. Rebel wrap it up in round number 8. 5-3 after a beautiful 4-round spree with a big team fight over the sniper and Blaze. Absolutely fantastic work for them.
It was absolutely fantastic work indeed. Rebel, man, they came in with a game plan and they executed it flawlessly. That sniper up top, that team fight at Cinema just proved to be too much there for Noble.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. That was only map number 1. We got to come back with Harbor between Rebel and Noble to finish this thing out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Pro League. We're right here in the middle of a heated battle between Rebel and Noble. They just finished things up on map number 1, which was District. It went 5-3 over to the side of Rebel. And Blaze, I've got a few little interesting stats for you that you might want to pick apart for the audience out there. Rebel, out of their 5-round wins, or out of the 8 rounds in total that we played, Rebel wins 6 out of 8 initials. And out of those 6 initials they won, 4 of them came with a 4-man wipe. So 75% of the initials in the entire map won by Noble. Of those 75%, 80% are 4-man wipes leading to a triple cap domination. But here's the interesting stat for you that I think you're going to love to tell everybody about. 100% of the rounds, all 5 rounds that Rebel won, there was a singular centerline power weapon. When it was only sniped to fight over, they won the fight 100% of the time.
And you know what? That stat line is perfect towards Rebel's play style, man. If they get first blood in a round, they progressively get stronger and stronger and stronger based off the speed in which they play. Once that first kill comes in, your squad does not have time to reset. The second kill is soon to follow unless you're going blow to blow with this Rebel team. So, you know, getting that center line power weapon there, you have to go against Demon. Any weapon along the center line of the map, you have to play against Demon. And he is a demon when it comes down to those type of fights, man. That's a tall task for anyone, but Rebel, man, they definitely have an identity and they know what that is.
I mean, there's almost a part of me now that sees this map number 2 coming up with Harbor and maybe that little the side huddle for Rebel. They might be saying to themselves, you know what? Win, lose, draw map round number 1. Sniper goes down at Stern. Doesn't matter who's going to get it. Doesn't matter what they decide to do. They can put Talon. They can put Boltok. They can put it anywhere they want on the map. We're putting Sniper at Stern because we won 100% of the rounds when there was a singular power weapon. We're going to do the same thing here on map number 2. We're going to make Colin look like the dumbest person walking, and that's fine with me because I love to see teams.
I'll be a part of that dumb walking club. Okay,
yeah, you'll be walking right there with me.
I'll be walking right alongside of you. We'll be skipping, okay? We'll be skipping over the hill. I'm like, oh, we thought it was Noble. Now, going onto this map, if they put Sniper down center line, win or lose, it's going to work out for them. Hell, if they lose, it's probably going to be even better for them because I don't think Noble's going to have that foresight to start building their up top secondary. The typical placement is Botox down low for the 1v1 player. I think Rebel's gonna do that, and they need to because they need a focal point in the middle of the map. Gearries misrolls, but he still capitalizes on a chunk there. Nice stun on Identivez coming out from Noble. And you see they don't slow down. They're looking for that next kill. They say, okay, we got a guy, where's the next? But they don't convert those double kills out as fast as Rebel sometimes off those first bloods.
Go. Reptile trying to challenge up Identivez, who is here just outside of the spawn of Noble as well. You can see them fighting. They get that kill finally, and you see them start to backtrack toward that B hill. Now they have a 4v3 on the map, but 3 members of Rebel are in the same area. They're going to push up, trying to go inside of this B hill. The Lancer fire from over the top from Gearries is going to have a lot of damage onto Crack and Kardia. They're going to be full red on the center line. 2 pickups now for Crack. 1 more down, he'll be out. Kardia has to rotate back with him as well. He might give the opening to Noble to get back into that B hill, but the points line right now, the score line, it's only 3 or 4 because as soon as Noble got control over the 2-1 hill advantage, Rebel was basically sat back up and ready to go to get that decap.
And so when Rebel rotated down low for the decap at B, Noble has been doing a great job keeping count of their numbers. So they see that there's 3 members down low. And you look at their spread up top, player 3 can kind of float over towards his opponent's side of the map just a bit more. Identivez needs to be careful, but he's trying to soak up some of those Lancer bullets. Draw, fire of Noble so his teammates can get through down low, but Lava's being annoying. He's backing up, keeping the Lancer out, making it more difficult for Rebel to get this B hill, and he did a fantastic job. Also, Identivez did a fantastic job overextending towards C just to give his team a heal and kind of shake this map up a bit.
Identivez, a little shimmy shake, tries to slide down those steps. Isn't going to be able to get the shot on a Reptile either. There's the home hills traded right back against one another. Still B-Hill in control of Rebel and, I mean, Noble, and things are going to continue to stay at not a snail's pace, because with that kill, Rebel should be able to fly back into a position. You see, Identivez downed once again. I'm so sick of seeing this as a commentator, watching people. Yes, timing your opponent out can work in your benefit, but when they're that close to a hill, blow their brains out the back of their skull, get it over with, and make sure you don't lose the hill and have to backtrack somebody over there. They have to take Gearries out of any secondary fight now to put him back on the C hill. I'm going to start counting that as an error. I'm going to put a big E up there like it was baseball, saying, hey, look, that's an easy dribbler, and it's going to go right between the legs because you're just not paying any attention to what's going on in front of you.
I think that's a beautiful call out there, because you had to double back to stop Identivez from capping the hill. He was threatening the trip cap domination for a second, it looked like, but you still are wasting time here. And in the late game, it hurts even worse. Now, Reptile decapping B, he gets crossed out. B-Hill will go back in favor of Rebel. Nobody will be in the winch position to be able to cross down. So now Noble are going to try to lock in both these home hills, keep them in. Noble is going to lose Xysho. So this is Gearries by himself on his opponent's side of the map. He's aggressive in his 1v1 and right, as he should be, because you don't want to be in a 1v2 if you can help it. In the end, he gets crossed out. That's 4 members down on the side of Noble. Rebel, they're going to strike first this time.
They pick up right where they left off, and I'm going to blame that entirety of that secondary push. I can't imagine how frustrated that has to be for a team to know that a player that is down, crawling around, makes it into a hill to get a decap and to force you to bring a player back out of that secondary fight. For Christ's sake, Blaze, I can't imagine, like, I'm sitting here just boiling right now, because I'm like, all right, Gearries, you get the down there, you're going to push up, you're probably going to go to the winch to try to fill in that lane, because Crack has won the fight up in Stern. You have to fill that lane to not allow Crack to get the winch to try to shoot down on your teammates. And instead, Gearries is now sitting on the C hill, holding his butt in his hands, just looking around, hoping somebody's going to tell him what to do, because everybody just has to stop. The whole retake has to go back by the wayside. It ends up in the garbage disposal.
Now, looking at this break here, Gearries got first blood in round number 1 for Noble. This time around, Demon has that right hand advantage, and he's very aggressive with it, pushing back Reptile. He's going to be able to lock in his winch position, but on the flip end, you see Noble utilizing their right hand. Gearries didn't even go to that fight. He took his spawn advantage up top to get the angle. Now, as we see, he's having to disengage here, but he's taking a lot of shots from the left, and now Rebel, they will be able to get top Stern, and they haven't slowed down, Colin. They're looking for that next kill. They're on their opponent's side of the map, trying to get them flustered, but Reptile is too composed. Him and Xysho take out 3 members of Rebel. Now, they can shoot down, help out Lava in a 1v1 position, and they got map control.
Good double team there to get the down onto Kardia. They're going to be in the B hill, going for the decap and the retake. They have the power position over the top winch. Rebel, 3 players alive. They're going to go for this retake. Identivez gets checked up there a little bit by Xysho, but not enough damage to stop him. 3 players from Rebel are actually going to fly to the top Stern now. They're actually going to try to overload this side of the map. They're wolf packing around. Xysho continues to roll back, continues to put out the pressure. You see Reptile, he's going to get pinched here momentarily. He needed to take somebody to the grave, but Lava rotates over to get that kill. He evens the round up right now, because it's 3v3 on the map now instead of 4v3 in favor of Rebel, which would have allowed them to take another 2v1 somewhere else on the map, which is a brilliant job this round by Noble. They're not going to leave anybody out of position. And Wench and Stern have been taken over by Rebel, but B-Hill still well within rights to Noble. They're up over the 150 marker. They're up by about 60 points. Gearries, and I believe that's Lava down here, just trying their best to stay alive in this positioning. 2 players from Rebel are starting to mount up, though. They're getting ready for this retake. Reptile's even been called out in the middle. This is going to get very hairy. They just have to play a little bit more defense, Blaze. You can see them continuing to pot shots. There's the push into the B hill. They're going to get that decap and that retake, and they do it, I believe, just in the nick of time. They should get the win condition here shortly.
Reptile won his 1v1 against Identivez. That is his Lancer Fire coming in from screen right, and he gets the double down on top of the B hill, and that was a huge play from him, being assertive, knowing what his teammate needed, what his team needed in the late game, and that was to relieve that pressure from the winch, and that was a big time 1v1 from him. And it was right at the moment when Rebel was making their push, so Identivez didn't even see it coming.
Well, where it is, 1-1. Noble, beautiful job there, leaving Reptile. They get Reptile into the 1v1, like you said. He ends up winning it, which turns the tides for that defensive stand, that push where they get the easy shots down onto the B hill and get that double down, the easy couple of kills. Talon placed out by Noble. They are going with their bread and butter. They want the secondaries, then they're leading up to utility rifles, and then the utility nades shortly thereafter that. Rebel has not fallen onto their sword yet. They said, look, we're going to try to hold off the stay because of how comfortable they are on Harbor. Maybe hold that sniper in their back pocket until maybe even second half, see how the round count starts to go. But I don't think they've hit the panic button yet. I do believe they did after the first 2 rounds. They said they just slapped the snipe down and said, let's see how you deal with this one.
So the front spawns have been avoiding each other on each respective side of the map. And Identivez, he went top stern and just wrapped all the way around to be able to get that kill. Gearries played winch. He dropped quickly. And then now you see Reptile falling. Big 3 kills coming out for Rebel. Kardia not going to cap this B hill just yet, but now is the perfect time. As you see, the home hill for Noble under siege. The cross is there. The kills come through. Crack gets another down. It's big for Identivez, but he chose to, instead of making a hero play, he wanted to clean up the kill there. And we'll see if that works out for him.
Lieutenant Kim there almost got the job done in a 2v1. Lava doing his best impression, trying to get the bounces. He got one of the downs, couldn't clean it up, couldn't get that secondary kill. Here comes Reptile. He's going to try to fly. He gets the Lancer down for the 3rd down in damage and then runs in and gets the easy up A kill. That's 2 dead on the map. Now it leaves it at a 4v2 in favor of Noble. They do have the ability to go for a retake. I don't know if you pressure up with the size of this map, and they exactly do not do that. They say, look, we've got the B hill back. We've got everybody already alive and kind of in positions at the wench at the stern. And here goes Rebel with that 3-man push top side of the map once again. They have to be very careful not to give up that positioning so easy yet again. You see them shooting across the top of the winch there onto Rebel. Rebel now, or Demon has to push back. Kardia and Identivez up top. They're going to be on the right side of the stern toward the Noble home hill side of the map. Here comes the flood. They are throwing a flash over the top. That might get both. It's a little too far, as a matter of fact. It gives up the positioning. Big 1v1 at the winch is going to break out as well. This is huge. Whoever comes away with this stand is going to win this round, I believe, and that's going to be won by Noble. Now they have the ability to push back against the tide. They have the retake in the point category as well, and they're going to continue to mount up these kills left, right, center, and blaze. This looks to be 2-1 all day long.
That's what it was looking like to me. Gearries made big plays on a winch. Now Noble crossing out Rebel here. They got the win condition off 2. We see them wrap around the home hill, taking it slowly. Want to make sure they can just acquire the rest of these kills, and they're going to get every single one of them. Noble, his entire squad is here, but Reptile, but he's going to be joining the crew very, very soon here. It's a team effort. All right, as they get that 2-1 victory to kick us off. And so one thing that I've been kind of noticing off these last 3 rounds is that you got your front spawns not really engaging with each other, playing off their right hand. So front spawn for the C spawn, we know is going to be going towards top stern. And from there, they just try to get the angle down bottom winch, push it out if they can, looking for that first blood. So we haven't been seeing a scrappy fight at winch as I thought we were going to see. But, you know, both squads taking very smart fights for their teams and, you know, very high percentage fights at that.
There's the Retro Lancer answered out by Noble and as well by Rebel. And I think Rebel, before they place any power weapons at the stern, they're going to build up to maybe a shock grenade. They're going to try to extend the round count at least to that point where they have a shock there instead of the Retro, then place that weapon at stern. So they have a big team fight and a utility nade to use off the rip. Nobody going for that Retro off of spawn either. 3v3 once again, flashes out from the bottom. That's a little dirty flash, an extra flash into the fight, but it doesn't catch anybody. Reptile finds himself one. Crack is going to get some revives off though, and now Noble might have to win a 2v2, but it is easily won and taken care of. They settle things in quite quick fashion as Kardia now has to retreat toward the C hill. He's got a teammate though in Identivez. Beautiful answer fire by Kardia. That should be an easy down, but there's Identivez getting picked up by Reptile. And my God, PR said last night he's tired of betting against Reptile and being proven wrong. And that man, a man of many faces like the Reptile of his name, has shown that he can do it in every category. 1v1, support, and main slayer. They wrap up round at number 4 in 48 seconds.
Man, a highlight player of that round for me had to be Xysho off the start. I do believe that he got every single down between Winch and Stern for his team. And then he was the first on his opponent's home hill starting to decap it. So he was all over the map, playing a position very well, playing his position very well. And in the end, man, that was a quick round for Noble. But that was the one that really kind of sent momentum into their favor. And if you're going to break that momentum, get the M bar or the long shot down. And as we see, it's going to be the M bar. Let's see what Noble can, let's see what Rebel can do with this power weapon placement.
3 in a row was the straw that broke the camel's back. They said, look, we'll wait for the shock next round. I don't give a damn. We got to win a round right here, make it 3-2 to try to stay into this one. They put the M bar up top. The shock is out to stop them from going for the quick pick. Gearries has his shotgun out, and a misroll from Demon will see him sacrifice to the gods. Identiv now has to pull back with his teammate. He has somebody right there for the quick revive off, but Reptile will have the M-bar in hand. Meanwhile, one player, oh my God, one player from Rebel has tried to go for a sneak, tried to go for a little flank here. Little cheeky flank out by Crack, but he gets 2v1, he gets down, he gets cleaned up. 2-1 hill advantage in favor of Noble. Demon might pressure up, but you're gonna need your head if you want to try to push that fight, and Demon's head is somewhere not on his shoulders right now.
Big awareness there from Reptile not to get flanked on his right-hand side. And Noble played this initial very well, Colin, because they had the shock grenade and they had the right-hand advantage on Winch. Once they had both of those, man, they knew that they were not going to get a quick pick on M-bar, so they threw the shock grenade on top. Rebels sent 4 guys to that area of the map, and if they was not going to fight the fight, if they were not going to take the battle at Winch initially, that 4th guy was pretty much just useless. You know, you kind of had them all grouped up there, just waiting to be killed, and Gearries made big plays, man, and he just needed to make that play within that first 4 seconds, right? 4 to 5 seconds where that shot grenade's down, is blocking off the pickup from the M-bar, utilize your numbers down low on the Winch, get that advantage. They did that. And they just kind of traded out their numbers from that point in. And we saw Reptile hit some big shots at the end of the round. Noble, they got all the momentum in this one. And this is Rebel's map pick. We thought that, hey, Rebel had a great opportunity to close this one out, but nothing's working out for him, and Noble's just out-strategy.
Here we go. Both teams picking up their shot grenades. 3v3 in the middle of the map now. Gearries will not have right hand here at the Winch. You can see all the extra stuns coming out. Reptile tries to slide in, go for the gefilte fish. Doesn't get anything to go just yet, but a team kill comes out from Demon on Identivez, and now Demon has to backtrack. He needs to save his teammate, which he does. It's a 2v1 down here at the Winch and a 1v1 up top on the map right now. This is absolutely massive for Noble. They have to stay alive a lot longer. They've got to try to hold this extra spawn point off. 2 shots onto Crack, gets the down, but no out will come just yet. They're going to wait and bleed those 2 players from Noble out. Gearries is trying to rotate across to the top Stern fight, not give up that M-bar, but without a doubt, Rebel is in the driver's seat unless Gearries has anything to say about it, because he's going to find 1 kill, but at M-bar, the 2 hills, everything in favor of Rebel right now, and it's going to settle in here in the next few moments.
All right, so now Reptile, big battle there towards the Winch side of the map. He's going to lose his teammate in Gearries. Xysho is going to join the party. Now, Reptile, he drops. Xysho's last man standing. He's out of there. Rebel, they win a 3v3 fight between Winch and Stern. And they, with the neutral hill locked in, they don't have to waste any time capping it. They know where 1 of the remaining 4 members are. Gearries coming off respawn. I don't know if he's going to be able to have an impact. He does have 3 teammates alive on the map, and the D-hill isn't capped just yet. I think you're going to see Rebel try to get 1 more spree of kills here, if they can make that happen. That was a big kill from Reptile.
They're trying to get the shot onto Reptile as he's going home to home. They get the call out on him, so there's going to be a 1v1 over there. They don't use the extra M-bar shot to get the downs and damage just yet. Demon is now being challenged by Reptile. Reptile maybe overstayed his welcome in this fight. He goes down. You see Gearries try to push up to help him out. 2v2 up top, 2v1 down low, and Gearries now has to back out. If he dies, that's going to open up the home-to-home stretch for Rebel, and that's going to do it anyway. They continue to pressure, continue to chase. They get it. Crack full red. Xysho's going to try to bounce around, trying to make something happen. They're not going to get these shots to land just yet. Lava with a quick revive, but there's the extra chunk out because Lava decided his teammate didn't need to be in that fight with him anymore for that one as well. This should be a 4-2. Rebel has everything in their advantage, down to just 10 seconds before the round count ends. Reptile is now going to pad his stats for just a moment, but it's not going to change the overall outcome of the end of this round, Blaze. And you know, right about now, I'm looking for maybe a little strat call out from Noble. Noble in next round, no matter what happens next round, if they win, they go to map 3. If they lose, they got to go back to the left-hand side at the winch. Maybe throw that shock at the winch rather than at that stern at M-bar. Try to trap those players at winch or force them into the fight where they have to come around the bottom side of that U. Maybe a little trick strat coming up for us in a round if they lose another round in a row. Maybe they throw a spanner into the works. But for now, we're going to basically see Noble's best shot because they're coming out of that spawn, of the road spawn. They're going to have right hand. They're going to upgrade their retro to an incendiary most likely. So they have pretty much everything they need set up to win this either this round or next, if you ask me, Blaze.
Yeah, they definitely have a stronger percentage on the next round. Well, they have their strongest percentage on this round with them having that right-hand advantage on winch. But the next round, I think that's a great call out with the switch up on the shock. You definitely can toss that shock on the winch from the pickup point of it. Now, 2v2 fight to kick this one off. Geary takes a shot and he back rolls immediately. Reptile goes to the forefront of the fight. That's a big down. They have a player on the line taking shots over the top. But what Identivez managing to get it down there was actually Kardia that got the down on Reptile. This turns into a 1v1 fight at the winch, 1v1 up top at the stern, and Identivez has to back up. But Lava, you see how he shifts down? He helps his teammate get that down on the stairs, but Xysho needs not overstay his welcome because he is getting chased. He's going to take one more before he leaves, and that's a beautiful shot from him because that's going to keep his team with position of the stern.
Now they're trying to slide over to that second hill. You see that's player number 2, Reptile, trying to be very sneaky. He's got the triple cap domination ticking in. He's going to have a 1v1 here. Flashes out. He's going to have to try to catch him slipping, but Identivez 2 shots in, 2 shots down. Gets the kill. Will help secure the hill. Xysho takes care of his teammate and Kraken. I believe that forces Rebel to back up now. It's a 2v2 on the map. They have 3 more shots in the M-bar, but you have the point lead. You have the initial in your favor. All you've got to do is mount up and play defense probably 1 to 2 more times in this round. Xysho with a miss there, shot over the cover, now trying to get an extra couple of pellets to connect. He's going to have some help though from Xysho, and that's a beautiful start to that defensive stand for Noble.
Yeah, that's a great start for them. Now, you're going to see them trade off these remaining 2 shots. They're going to do it in an open, no respect. They still get the kill on Crack as he was not able to put off enough damage to get one of those kills. But hey, I don't blame him for moving up when he did. You got to find opportunities whenever you can. I think only 1 M-bar shot is going to be left there. We'll see if Xysho can do anything with it, but we're looking at towards the late game. And Rebel, they got 2 heals to their name. They're winning in 20 seconds. I think we're about to see a map 3.
Oh yeah, probably more likely than not going to see a map 3 here because this is one of those situations where Rebel has to basically fly at every single fight. All you've got to do is play a little bit passive, try to play for the downs and damage to force them out of these situations. And with that 3 wipe at E Hill and the retake there as well, under 5 seconds to go, Noble find themselves back in this thing. It is all tied up after a beautiful little kiss off the glass by Gearries with that incendiary. They're going to win the match. 7 rounds in, 5-2, 1 round better than how Rebel had to get it done on District. But we will find ourselves in a map number 3 in a beautiful fight there on Vascar.
Man, Noble, they turned it up and they had to because Rebel just completely ran through them for about 6 out of the 7 rounds to kind of kick off our Pro League for the day. But Noble, they figured out a winning solution. They leaned, and that kind of came down to just outstratting Rebel when it came down to the fights at the stern. They took high percentage fights. Xysho made big plays. They didn't give Demon that 50-50 fight that he wanted at winch every single time. And Rebel won some big engagements, man. And that was a big map for him. They needed that.
Definitely a big map for him. I'm going to continue to talk about some of the stats that I think are more telling. In that map, one of the things that we saw happen was the M-bar gets placed down late, and they think that that's going to turn the tide for him. Rebel ends up winning the fight for the M-bar in the first round after it's placed down. But they lose the next round because of the fact that they had to give up positioning. And I think the biggest difference there is Harper's probably a little bit more wide open in that stern fight. There's more area to rotate around. So It's not really a true shotgun on shotgun fight. You get that a lot more at the winch. You can kind of spread your numbers up there at stern, go for a cross angle, go for a lancer angle. 3 out of the 5 rounds that Noble comes away with a win on, they end up getting the win due to the fact, I don't want to say due to the fact, but they get the wins 3 out of the 5 rounds on their right hand, and they win 5 out of the 7 initials. So right now, the tail of the tape between these two teams to me, Blaze, initials mean everything.
They do. And then the one round where Noble, one of the rounds in which they won where they didn't have right hand, we saw Reptile making big plays in those 1v1 lanes, making sure that he was always keeping pressure applied on the map, that he was challenging his fight. And you know, sometimes that's what you got to do, especially when you want to make the map truly man on man, so your teammates can have some better chances at getting some big hills. Specifically, you know, B hill in the first half of Harbor. You need those 1v1 lanes to be distracted, keep a lancer over their head, and just have trust in your teammates.
And I believe the round you're talking about, if my notes serve me well here, I have it written. I have a X for every round they don't have right hand, a check mark for every round they did have right hand for Noble after they lost that first round. It was round number 2, Reptile. I have it in my notes. It says Reptile, 2 different 1v1 win round. I know that's terrible English, but that's as fast as I could write it, okay? That's all that can come out of the Southern head.
You got
win
it down.
1v1, he win round, okay? That's how I live my life.
And then they chained together a few rounds after that too as well. So that was a momentum swinger, because if you remember it correctly, you know, Rebel, man, they had a last minute push towards the end of the round. You know, they had the cross coming down from Winch to towards the B hill. And looking like they was going to win that engagement, but Reptile, man, he was working smarter, not harder. He had perfect timing on Identivez to win that fight. And then from there on out, you know, they went on and they took the rest of the round.
Another thing I want to point out after that map 1 that we can, or map 2 after that we can talk about going into map 3, because Vascar opens up and offers a lot of this opportunity as well. It was round number 4. Rebel has right-hand advantage there at the winch, and what they end up doing is, instead of putting their player down there in the 1v1 position against B, they rotate him toward mid-map, and that extra player actually throws his flash over the top of the winch to bring it into the fight. It was basically, instead of a 3v3, it was a 4v3, because the extra utility was there for Rebel to get the 3 kills, and it was a really interesting round. Rebel ends up coming away with the initial. Noble ends up coming away with a retake, which is basically my way of saying that they lose the point advantage at some point in the round, and Noble ends up coming away with the round. But that initial was won by Rebel, because that's a little trick. It's a little wrinkle into your offense. They bring that player out of his normal 1v1. They throw an extra flash that nobody's probably expecting, and now all 3 players that are sat on the same cover for Noble, all of them got their hands over their eyes and are just waiting to get shot.
Anytime where you could bring an extra flash off the initial that hasn't been there before, that can definitely turn the tides in your favor. And so in that 1v1 position down low at Harbor, you know, you get a little bit more room to move around in spots like that. But, you know, hey, you throw that wrench, you know, that extra audible into the mix there, and you just go middle and you throw a late flash, right? And I want to say from the actual B hill, you could be able to get that flash over to have an impact. But hey, you got to make slight adjustments like that to find advantages during these maps. Let's see what type of adjustments we're going to see here in map number 3.
Right now, we have 3 players from Noble trying to go for the home-to-home stretch. 2 players from Rebel are going to be stacked up here, but they got a 3rd player coming over. Identivez finds 1 on that mid pillar. Now they're going to press Reptile back off onto the luggage cases. Reptile actually tries to go for a little bot walk there, tries to give him the shimmy shake, try to catch somebody slipping. They get multiple downs in the area, and Rebel should have this first round, because you can see them already pushing up to that home hill stretch. They're going to go for a triple cap domination. Gearries as trying to fly to that B hill. The quick kill comes through for Xysho. Double players into the hill to get that quick decap off. They're still down by 50 points, but that is going to extend this first round indefinitely for now.
Man, great effort there from Rebel off the initial. Almost closed that one out, but they're in a good position. 60-point lead. C hill, A hill locked in. They're fortified around the C hill. Rebel got to defend against this Noble push here soon. But we see, when you see flashes get tossed like that and no follow-up, that's a big advantage out the door, especially coming off respawn and you're playing from behind, because now you don't have no more utility to work with, especially in these earlier rounds. So now you got to find angles, utilize that Lancer, try to get some 1v1 fights. And Rebel, they knew once they stopped that push, they kind of had control over the map. and just crossing out Rebel as they're rotating. Crossing out Noble as they're rotating. And they're doing a good job. Nice lead. And we'll see if they can keep this A hill locked in, because that's where this fight's about to get transitioned to.
And they're going to have to worry about the respawns. They have to go quick. I know they're trying to wait for a third player. There's the flash by Xysho, trying to get a stun off. They've got to worry about Identivez with the freelancer angle. They got him down, cleaning him up real quick. Now the other two players are coming off a respawn for Rebel. They're going to be pushing right back up into this fight. Demon just using that pillar, using that cubby corner. Absolutely critical to get those shots on, those extra chunks out, getting the kills to help secure the hill, and that's going to shut this first round down. Rebel, they come back off of respawn. They get the full 4-man wipe, and now they're going to wrap this thing up with a nice, pretty bow. Santa Claus doesn't even have to deliver it, because it looks like Identivez has helped do that with the side of Demon using that pillar. I mean, that's a beautiful job to play defense that long to allow your respawns to come out and help you.
So, you know, I'm going to say this round came down to that last team fight at the A hill, and you were calling it perfectly that Noble needed to kind of spring into action there before the respawn came through. Well, before that third guy in the mid-map got into position. I think that they timed it well, but Demon played his position even better, just rotating around that cover at arrivals, getting the chunks, putting out the damage, and he was able to buy enough time until his teammates came off respawn from arrivals in order to have an impact there and get the last heal in which they needed to lock that round in. You know, Rebel, if they take that 3v2 a little bit quicker, maybe a second too sooner, they might come out with it. But Demon, at the end of the day, man, he made big plays to keep his team into it. So let's head here into round number 2. Arrival spawn advantage. Well, you're going to see the A hill stay locked in. Noble deciding to send most of their members down low towards B. Rebel thought that they may see him up top, but they won't. So they're going to continue to rotate towards A and not slow down.
Shots out from Xysho with the bolt talk, trying to catch anybody slipping, trying to come around that corner. They're going to actually pull back and try to wait for them to bait him out into the hill. First headshot connects, though. They need that bolt talk. I think if I'm Xysho, I rotate immediately down to the middle of the big bottom stairs. Nobody really has a positioning to shoot back against you on that. But, oh my God, Xysho out here getting the headshots with the bolt talk. Must have thought it was lunchtime, baby, because it looked like high noon to me from there.
Definitely did. Now the question is he going to be able to get dessert? He's going to have some help. Demon will fall. Now Kardia is going to have the C hill locked in. Rebel coming off respawn says, you know what? This isn't our fight. Let's see if we can test our luck at the B hill, have a better opportunity. Identivez does a good job dodging those flashes. Crack steps up, puts in some shots, but it wasn't enough. Noble wins this fight as well. Now they're going to have to set their sights onto the C hill.
Demon's just waiting in the wings. I like that little creep step out of Demon. He said, if you come around this corner, I'm going to get the shotty to the body, and I'm going to get the one-hit Aquita. This roll, though, gives Xysho the ability to finish him off as he was full red. Crack flying out of spawn. 3 beautiful
nice
shots will help connect and get a couple of down and kill, but not the round or the hill. Noble, they answer right back from the arrivals. And Blaze, just give our new viewers a little insight on why that arrival spawn is so powerful here in this first half.
Well, the reason what makes it so powerful is that when it comes down to escalation, your home heals are capped automatically. But for arrivals specifically, the A hill, it's perched up on top of that hill. So when it comes down to your opponent having to siege that hill, you get that height advantage. Also, you can see from the A hill to the C hill, if you want to have your home hill player there to kind of support the rest of the teammates on the fight. And then thirdly, you're closer to your spawn, right? So you have all 3 of those advantages there on this side of the map if you want to choose to fight from A to C. But these last few rounds, we have been seeing a split from both these teams. Has been a 2-2 engagement, both sides. And, you know, and that's still a great fight. That's the beauty about having that side of the map in the first half, is that, you know, you get a few more strategies in which you can run. And we see these top teams mix it up a bit to see if they can catch your opponent off guard with the numbers on the initial.
Flashes out by both squads here, trying to break out into this fight over the tank. It's a 2v2, both sides of the map. First team to get a kill are going to pretty much give themselves the advantage to come around this fight. You see Kardia actually going for the quick rotation around, but Reptile saves his life long enough for Kardia to not be able to help out. He gets him full red as well, but you see Gearries is sitting in the hill. This is beautiful. This might put the pressure on them to make that next move. Now you see Gearries can kind of play around. He can try to pull back, pull his Lancer back out. This, to me, gives them a little bit of an advantage here. getting that second hill off early, because now you have to push up if you're Rebel. You have to try to go into the teeth of the defense of Noble. Shots out from Kardia, just trying to get it down, trying to get some damage, but he gets cleaned up and taken out. Meanwhile, it's a 2v1 opposite side of the map, and it's all Noble right here, this initial to start, and that was beautifully done, and that's how you create opposite map pressure. That's how you make your opponent make a mistake. They think you're going to go for the home-to-home split. Instead, you go mid-neutral, you put the pressure somewhere else, and you make them win a fight later down the road.
All right, now you got Rebel all grouped up, 4 players on the top side of the map, A-Hill locked in. And kind of similar to the initial in which we thought they were going to run, they got that one player watching back on their home hill, but Noble's rotations are too quick. They get an initial kill here, but you see it's being traded off at both squads. 3v3 on the map. Kardia goes down. Noble currently has the advantage. Xysho trying to see if he can get one more down, bait out Crack, but it's not going to be any baiting in that situation with Demon on the flank. Rebel working hard to get their home hill back. But you look at the score, Noble's been doing a great job, Colin. They got B locked in. C, they haven't been able to get it back just yet. But with them having a lead, they got plenty enough time to just wait for their teammates to come off respawn and make a great push.
One of the things that they got to worry about here is that Rebel didn't really have to use many utilities to get back over to that C hill and get it recapped up. So this is going to be a full fight. This is not going to be one team having the advantage because they have the utilities off of the respawn. They're going to have to win this full out. And I think you're going to have to fly in about 5 to 10 seconds. The flasher smoke is going to come out here very shortly. You see them mounting up 3v3 this side of the map. There's the flash. I was about 10 seconds, and I was about a second too late. They pull up into those covers. They're getting damaged on. They have to make sure they get this possibly a decap before they lose the point advantage. But they lose Lava, and that's a huge loss in this 3v3 fight. Now Xysho goes down. All that was left was Reptile, and you see, or excuse me, all that was left is Gearries to be lost in a 3v1 wrapped up nicely in a bow by Rebel, and to me that's a beautiful retake on their half, and it forces Noble to win a retake, and they're just not able to do it.
Nah, they wasn't able to do it at all. Great effort there for Noble there in the late game, but in the end, man, the setup that Rebel had was just, it was a good one. They had 3 members on top of the C hill. They knew exactly what their win condition was going to be. Identivez hung back to watch the home hill and kind of fought that in a 1v1 position. You know, and you look back at the beginning of that round, Noble worked hard to get that lead early on, and they won some big fights. But, you know, in the end, they won some big fights to get themselves to that point where they just needed one last good push to get a decap, right? They didn't even necessarily need to cap a hill. They just needed a decap there in that moment to keep the lead and kind of extend that fight. But hard fought from Rebel. Let's see if they can do it again. Now, if they could win this round, that'd be big going into the second half, but it's going to be hard.
It'll be hard indeed. Here we go. B-Hill given up pretty much instantaneously by the side of Rebel. Rebel's actually sending 3 players over here to the A-Hill. Xysho is going to play defense with just that Retro Lancer for a moment, but 3v2 mounted up long range, smoke out, nobody able to press up just yet. There's the push out, and Xysho has to pull all the way back, and it looks like Demon's not going to slow up. He's going for the up A. He gets the shot on, but it's not even 50% or so. Identivez now on the bottom side. Lancer out. Is going to get Boltok down. And all Xysho has to do is win 1-4, 1v1 against Crack. Crack almost gets the wrap on him as well. Xysho's going to finish it up. He has 2 kills to his name in this first fight. Boltok out, shot on. He actually gets shot on by the Boltok of Crack. And Crack catches him around the pillar. Beautiful job winning that initial fight, but gets immediately traded out by Reptile. Rebel, they traded out back, though, over to the B hill. They don't give up their home hill as well, so back and forth we go, but Rebel, they are once again finding a way to come back into this, trying to get this retake to go.
Yeah, and that's that early B hill capture that they have there. Good job, though, to Xysho. You see him putting those secondary weapons to work. Had the Boltok and the Retro Lancer trying to defend against that home hill. Almost came out with a 3-piece, but in the end, you're going to have Noble have to slow it down just for a second. They're counting numbers. They're figuring out where they can stack up. And they've already identified that 3 members are at C so that they know they can get down to the B hill in time for a decap and get the points that they need that way. So that means that they have to disengage from this A hill fight. But Rebel's not going to make it easy on them.
Lava's full red, double shot down. They clean him up as well. Looks like they've got players sneaking around the map. Demon's trying to push a 1v1 opposite side, trying to get over to that B hill, but The fight really is here at the home hill of Noble. Shots onto Identivez. They finally get the down. They're going to get that out as well, and they've won the B hill momentarily. It's going to be a second 1v1 over here. Xysho is going to be the first line of defense. He's going to get some help from Lava. They're going to be threatening the triple cap domination here very shortly. Only 3 seconds to go. Players coming off a respawn for Rebel. Unsure if anybody's going to make it in time. They do not. That wraps it up, and that takes us to 2-2 after the first half. A beautiful job by both teams to keep it very close, keep it contested. But Blaze, I know you're going to have to tell everybody just how different this second half is going to play, because we talked about how important the arrival spawn was in the first half. Does that change at all coming here into the second half?
It does. It's gonna swap. So the swarm team's gonna have the side of the map with the little advantage of having that D hill perched up on top of on that elevated portion of the map. And it's the same reasoning which I stated in the beginning of this map, that it's gonna be harder to have to decap that hill as your opponent's defending it. So it's a lot easier for you to lock in that defensive setup. And typically when it comes down towards the swarm side, the best setup for them is pressing from the D hill down towards the F and locking those two for the home hill side. But you see both squads kind of splitting up into a 2-2, keeping this one light, trying to see what their opponent's going to throw at them. And first blood's going to go towards Rebel. They should be able to lock in his E hill and force Noble to have to push them towards the lower portion of the map.
Now Lava has to retreat all the way back to the spawn. You see Demon is going to see that Xysho's pushing up onto him. Xysho's actually going to go down. That's a beautiful little angle, cheeky angle as well, but the trade doesn't come through. Gearries actually takes a full spread, still standing. Identivez gets crossed out in the middle of the map. That's too quickly dead for the side of Rebel, and that's going to open things wide up for Noble to try to push their advantage here. It's going to be a 1v1 over the D hill in just a few moments. Gearries pushes up, misses that shot on the reviving player. Oh God, this could backfire very quickly like it was a 1967 Cadillac. You're going to hear the gunshots ring out. So far, Rebel, they stay alive, stay at their home, and they are going to be pushing this right back down the throats of Noble.
Man, so Noble, what do you do here in this situation? You know, they have to get back towards the D hill in time, but Reptile needed to buy a little bit more time, and in the end, I don't know if it's going to work out for him. It depends on how the fight's going, with Lava being pressed towards the back. Oh, player 6 across the map. Gearries, he gets the decap at E, and that actually keeps Noble in this round, but they got a lot of work to do. They still need to get the D hill back. It's currently a 2v2 fight, and we see across the other end of Rebel players disengaged. Now on screen, Gearries with the E hill capture, he's gonna have to back up just a bit, regroup with his squad. They got 2 hills already, so Noble's best chance is to fortify around their home hill, and one player already gonna go down. Lava did a good job making sure he takes one to the grave, and because he got that kill, that's gonna keep the numbers even, 2v2 on the map.
And Xysho might need to go for this cleanup. He does get the easy shot at the hill back. It's going to give them the win condition as well. They have the 2-1 hill advantage. They have to make it over to Gearries very quickly, though, to help him out. It looks like Rebel is sending all of their forces over here. Gearries is going to be full red. Identivez has to be careful not to push into the teeth of this defense. They're going for the decap right now on the E hill, which they get it. Gearries is still the front line of defense for the side of Noble, and Noble's actually flipped the hills. It's going to be a 1v1. Kardia is going to be pressured by Lava. Lava doesn't have the Lancer out. He's going to have to push in with a shotgun. Shot over the cover, though, because Rebel had the Lancer help in the fight. Xysho now trying to make it happen with a Voltok out. Headshot kill by Xysho on Kardia. It'll keep the home hill decap, but that's actually favorable for the side of Rebel. And I believe Xysho just got to go in the hill at this point. You got to take the down. You can't try to trust the F hill getting broken, because there's going to be a 1v1 breaking out at the E hill momentarily. This is huge for the side of Rebel. You're going to have to get every kill and every hill in your favor, but Identivez is stuck over to the B hill, ladies and gentlemen, to try to just ice this thing.
And he's gonna ice it indeed. With player 9 going down, Rebel, they locked this round in, Colin, and that was huge for him, because to me, that's a swing round. They were the first team to win on their bad side, because as you saw, we traded out in the beginning of this map, but by them taking round 5, they got the advantage going into round number 6, and this is where Rebel has to just play some textbook Vascar here and keep momentum in their control. So what is going to be textbook Vascar going into this portion of the map? Well, Rebel has the opportunity, if they want to put a centerline power weapon down now, just so that they can start off with it on their good side and not start off with it on the bad side. So if they wanted to snipe, they could put it down tank if they chose to. If not, textbook plays, getting that Botox upgraded to a Retro Lancer is going to be very influential here heading into the next round. Rebel, we'll see if they choose to send most of their numbers down low towards the F hill, or if they want to kind of split this up into a 2-2 once again. Running a 2-2 strategy, at least it's easier to defend against 3 people, but it's also you can identify that 2v1 that you may have on the other end of the map, and you can take that quickly. We see that they stack their numbers down low.
Noble stacks their numbers in tank. Meanwhile, the E-Hill is getting put in favor. It's going to be up to Kardia. He's going to have to push this initial fight. Rebel is going to send they're going to send Reptile right back to respawn. I'm not sure what was with that extra push out. Now they're going to have the easy shots onto Gearries' backside of the tank. Gearries might have to rotate out. They do have the down on Demon, but I don't know if anyone's going to clean him up just yet. Once again, more aggression by Rebel. Or more aggression by Noble has led to Rebel kills and is now giving up their F-Hill. Just a fantastic job by Rebel there, weathering the storm, allowing Noble to push up when there's really no need for it. Rebel had the 2-to-1 hill advantage, and they could pull back to their home and just play a little bit of defense. Meanwhile, they stay in the tank fight. They push up toward those ledges. I'm just not sure what the call-out was that caused that kind of confusion.
They should have just had trust in their 1v1 player at that time. You know, let that guy fight the 1v1, because that player would have had to play in his hand, right? Somebody would have had to play into Noble's hand there, and they should not have to push first. I agree with that, Colin. Now, you see the setup that Rebel has. They got multiple downs on the map. That's 3 downs to be exact. Xysho's the last member standing. He's defending the E-Hill, and man, he got a tall task ahead of him. We got 3 players surrounding him in the best position he can be to defend it, but where do you put the shot grenade? He drops it onto the hill, but is it enough to keep it captured? It is. He's trying to clean up the kill, but more importantly, worried about the 1v1. He's doing a good job in this 1v2 situation.
The home hill's gone back in favor of Noble. E-Hill is decapped. They get the 2-to-1 hill advantage. Actually, they've gotten the win over at tank. This 1v1 is still huge, but the home hill of Rebel is going to be going in favor of Noble. So now Rebel has to be forced into fight. Identivez has to try to take that shot. Oh! They don't get into the hill in time, and as Blaze called it out, Mr. Krabs comes through. Noble tie it up 3-3.
Wow, it just, you look back onto the round, and the 1 kill that Xysho had, just holding off from the 1v2 and keeping that E-Hill neutral was so important there at the end. Allowed his teammates to get across towards the F-Hill, well, get across towards their opponent's home hill at D, win a big fight over there, and for Xysho to get the help that he needs up top helicopter. So great job to him for pretty much just nullifying that hard work that Rebel put in beforehand. They're just gonna match that energy and get this one all tied up 3-3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, best of 3 at this point. First team to win 2 rounds. We are down to rounds 7, 8, and 9 to lobby this first match of the day out. And I mean, we told you it was going to be 4 slobber knockers to start the day off with. Noble Rebels, a hell of a matchup. It is not disappointing either. 3-3 all tied up, and 2v2 over here on the arrival side of the map, trying to get a quick cap over at E. Noble has to be careful. The shock will have Reptile crossed out, but I believe they used both of their utilities in that fight. They didn't have to do that. I mean, that's a lot of overkill for a singular player from the side of Noble. Meanwhile,
it is Reptile.
Noble is going to rotate over. Xysho's down from the cheeky angle again. Shot over the cupboard. Demon gets that kill. 2 dead for Noble. 3 dead for Noble. Now it's going to have the respawns to come back here and try to fight out against Demon. Demon full red. He's going to go down. They're just trying to answer back. Crack has to get one of these kills. Up A from him. Gets one. It solidifies at least that the trade. Oh my God. Crack is going to get 3-5.
They win all their 1v1s, and Crack never got cleaned up there. And sometimes that's why it's important in those close quarter fights there to just clean up your kill if you get an opportunity to. Now Xysho has to make some big plays, and he's going to do that. Him and Gearries work together to get the home hill back. Player 2 is across map at E running away, and we see player 1 being sneaky. Demon lets the first go by, steps up, quick wrap shot, keeps the hill locked in for his team. He's checking his left hand, gets hit with a full spread. Can Xysho get another? Lots of shots in on Kardia in front of him. He's in a good spot. Help will be here as well. So this is a 2v2 fight. Double down. The revive is there for Kardia, but you're going to see the other member there of Noble off the back in his lobby. He just needs to run away. a third member got to the fight. His teammate wasn't in position. That was player 6. So now they got to defend against this they got to defend their home hill against this push from Rebel.
I'm sorry, but I think this is over. Over on the other side of the map, Demon is 1v1 against Reptile, opening up the E hill, and now all they have to do is pressure up onto the home hill. They didn't even need to pressure up, really. Noble does have the advantage, but you see the win condition flips back over to Rebel. It's going to be a full minute for them to come away with a victory in this round, but they have the 2-1 hill advantage. They pressure up anyway. They might lose a few players off of this retake. You see Gearries is trying his best. He's going to go down. Xysho answering back-to-back meat shields. Shots onto Crack. Crack with a back A onto him as well.
Ooh.
Xysho answers 3. Xysho with one more 1v1 win can make it a 4-piece and a biscuit, baby. He might as well add some chicken supremes on that bad boy. They're going to have to get some decaps here very quickly. They're actually going to choose to go to the E hill. You see Rebel mounting up 3 players toward their home hill, but now they get the call out. E's going to be decapped and retaken by Noble. They have to get this off quickly. Get the second player into the hill. Go for the quick retake. You're down in points. You need the second hill.
Yeah, that was their opportunity to get it, but instead they say, you know what, guys, we're only down by 2 seconds. We'll get another hill. We'll take our numbers elsewhere. But as we can see, man, it's an even fight down low. They gave Rebel the fight that they wanted, that they needed in this moment. But unfortunate for Rebel, Noble, they show up and they show out. They get the hill that they need in a late game. Unless player 3 wants to be a hero, win a 1v1 and go to the D hill, in which he can be. That's your best option, Crack. You might as well go for it, but it's too late to make that play. Noble locks in his round.
So earlier in the round, we see the Rebel. Oh my God, there we go. I say that was a little trade out coming through, but 4-3 Noble. Early in that round, we actually saw something that I thought was pretty interesting, where Rebel used both of their utility grenades to get the kill on Reptile.
Yeah.
The thing that I say is so interesting, or the thing that's actually like pretty, it's textbook if you ask me, because of the way the grenades are built. They're both area of effect grenades. Late in that round, when they're going for the retake, all 3 players are pushing across tank. They actually use the shock on one set of stairs, the incendiary on the other set of stairs. So where Rebel was, where they were basically playing that front line of defense, those players were trapped on those stairwells. You saw the double down actually came through by way via the shock grenade thrown out by the side of Noble on the inner stairwell. It was just beautiful knowing what you have to use and using it to pretty much perfection.
Man, hey, you know what? And as long if you can get a lead early on and save as much as your utility to the late game, man, it just makes those setups so much stronger. And honestly, your opponent knows it, and they know that they have to force you to try to toss those nades. And it just kind of makes your setups that much stronger. Now, off the start here, you see multiple players from Noble working off that left hand. That's a big kill from Reptile. He doubles back to get the revive on his teammate. And now a 3v1 there on the stairs. Another 3v1 top on the home hill. Noble, they lock it in, but they got another fight to win. They know it's not over yet. At least they got all 4 members in this area of the map. And this could be the final round, Colin, as they get the last member. Rebel, there's no coming back in this one. As I see it, I just get the touch.
Another touch comes through. Kardia now off of spawn, trying to fly to that D hill. Melee out. Demon now off of spawn, trying to fly to the hill. Another touch comes through. Up A on Xysho. Actually takes the spread, but goes down to the second shot. Crack dies as well. 3 members still here for Noble. The love taps come through, and Noble with that beautiful new branding logo. They win back-to-back matches and back-to-back nights that are absolutely heated. Going to map number 3, 5-3 to close it out over Rebel, and Xysho playing that beautiful 40,000 coin collector mirror skin. Hey, look, it feels that way when it looks that good. You got that gilded skin right there. I mean, that's just that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. But Noble, they finish it out 5-3. Chef's kiss on the mirror skin. A fantastic job by Noble Blaze. I mean, just almost picture perfect when they had to be.
Yeah, you know, that's what I wore the purple shirt, you know, because to represent the new logo. I said on the Challenger series when I first saw it, I said, is Noble going through something this week? Because the Noble, the logo just got some attitude, man. It just kind of switched it up on us. But hey, I like it. And I'm pretty sure the fans like it as well. But more importantly, they like this victory. Now, I look back on this third map and I'm like, okay, well, where did this kind of shift in favor for Noble? Where did they get the momentum towards the back end and pull away with this one? And honestly, I think it was that fight right there. Not that fight specifically, but this side of the map, the tank area. Noble did a better job fighting off their left hand. And they didn't mind challenging Rebel on this side of the map. You know, maybe they just had some maybe they were feeling confident because of the angles in which they had, just their ability to be able to focus fire, bait out their opponent, better utilize their utility grenades on that portion of the map. But by them winning that tank fight, the 2 rounds in which they did, they won 2 of their bad sides in the second half to kind of close this one out after being down. And you know, and Rebel getting momentum, in which I felt like in round number 5.
Blaze, I know I've come with the stats heavy tonight. I know I've been living and dying by numbers, because you know how I've always said it: men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
They don't.
They don't. They never have. They never will. Here comes. By the way, let's just enjoy this 4-piece by Xysho. There's a down. There's a cleanup.
And then now you see him under all this pressure, right? He uses the pistol kill to get the 4th right here. His teammate barely touched that guy. Barely touched him. But Xysho steps back up to the plate. Quick chunk. Rotates around. He knows he got help coming, but he's like, I got it. Quick back guy.
Just, I mean, picture perfect from the side of Noble, and especially with Xysho in those last 2 rounds. But here we go with some stats that I know you'll enjoy. The 2 maps that they won, Rebel wins over 60% of their initials. In map 2, they win 71%. In map 3, they win 62.5%. 10 out of 15 altogether for those last 15 rounds. In maps 2 and 3, they win 10 of those initials, which allow them to win maps 2 and 3, if you ask me. The other thing that I really think is all telling to me, that I really love from Noble in that last map. Rounds 2, rounds 4, and round 6, all won by Noble, all won after the 150-point threshold has been met by Noble winning a 2v2 somewhere on the map, where 2 of their players are stacked up against 2 of the players from Rebel. All 3 rounds, Noble came out with that victory in those 2v2 fights. That just goes to show that as important as those 1v1s are, as important as having Lancer fire over, having that kind of chemistry, that team synergy, to have trust and faith in those 2v2 fights where we have an advantage, we have a peak, we have a flash. Let's make sure that we get it and solidify it. I think that's what Noble hangs their hat on. Not just their team fire, but that kind of synergy they got going, because they did that in 2, 4, and 6 on map 3, in rounds 2, 5, and 7, and 2, and all rounds 1 and 3. The 2 rounds, the 2 out of the 3 rounds they won in map 1. Every time they're winning around, it's post 150 to 2v2 somewhere, and they're coming out on top. That tells me a lot about their genetic makeup.
Yeah, man. You know, the longer that they continue to go in some of these rounds, the better in which they're going to get. But as the round progresses, they are, you know, they're figuring out, okay, what exactly is this win condition going to be? And it seems like sometimes they figure it out a lot quicker than their opponent, right? But as soon as they are able to identify that and they feel comfortable in it, and they are truly able to lock into that defensive setup, they are better, right? And those 2v2 fights are going to be key for them there. And those 2v2 fights and those defensive setups is usually gonna be where the focal point of the map is gonna be. Noble doing a good job making sure that their opponent kind of plays into their hand into the late game, and I'm excited to see them get another win and see how they play going into our final week.